Happy Life, chapter 57. Channel your energy properly so that it does not turn into arrogance and aggression. You can and should be assertive, just never aggressive. It is reasonable to feel happy about your resources, just not boastful. Should the desire for retaliation cloud your judgment, act firmly but judiciously. The power that builds also destroys. The hard nose and the high strung end up alone with frazzled nerves. Today's message talks about the way we can channel our energy. A lot of times our energies are neutral in themselves, but how we use our energy, it is what makes the difference at the end of the day. So the energy of assertiveness can be used in a loving way. To be assertive is always a loving attitude, but you can use that energy also in a way that can be harmful if it's turned into hostility, if it is carried with anger. In that moment, it stops being assertiveness to be a type of aggression. So we have different type of energies. Even the energy of being sweet with someone, it can be a very altruistic and powerful energy, the energy of love. But when this energy is mixed with us being permissive, for example, or not setting limits to someone else, then it stops being love to being something else that's not love. I can't even think of what it would be called. But it can be love because right now it's something that's really not helping the other person. It's harming. When we, for example, call love and we don't set limits for our children, that's really not love, because love includes setting limits. A parent that loves set limits so the child will know that in life later on he or she will experience limits. Limits are necessary. Everybody needs to be given limits. God gives us limits, and we as good and loving parents should be setting limits. So even if you are excessively sweet and excessively good, so to speak, where you end up not doing your duty as a parent, that can also be harmful. That energy that supposedly is a good, positive energy can end up becoming something that is not love, and it's also does not benefit somebody else. So the invitation for today's message is, how are we using our energy? And Joanna here gave us some really good examples, right? And we did explore two of them. One that's usually, well, both of one that assertiveness and being like loving and taking love to an extreme where we end up giving everything and calling that love when that's not really love. But here she talks about you can and should be assertive. It's important to be assertive, right? But you don't need to be aggressive. So we need to be able to differentiate those feelings. It's reasonable to feel happy, but not boastful, right? Not arrogant, not to be rubbing stuff on people's face, because then it's no longer about being happy. It's about being bigger and better than someone else. It's about putting stuff out there to diminish others. At the very end of the day, for everything that we do, whether it's using our energy, our actions, anything that we are doing, we should look at deeply and ask ourselves, what is the intent behind this? When I act this way, what were the feelings and what was the intent? And I think in this way, it will be a good guide to us in assessing our actions. But if you still have any doubts about if what you have done was good or bad, you can always ask yourself, if I was the recipient of my own actions, how would I feel? Do I think that this would benefit me or that this would harm me, right? So put yourself in someone else's shoes, and you should get that will really help and really guide us towards the right answers. So if you're the recipient of your own action, how would you like to receive that? So let's think about those things. I think those are, again, very little important exercises that we can do and can help us tremendously in making better choice for ourselves, which is absolutely important and necessary for a happier life.